start as we always do with the prayer for NCH City Council. If everyone will please stand. Followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. God our Father, we are all your servants. We trust in your mercy and love. We trust also in your guidance. Direct the meetings of this council of North College Hill to make good decisions for all the people who live in our city. Give all the members of this council wisdom and insight to know what is best for our city. Help us to be fair and just in all our decisions. Bless us all to do the very best we can with your help and guidance. We pray this in your name. Amen. Amen. Call this meeting to order. Flag is to your left. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everyone, for coming out. Trust that you had a good long weekend, hopefully. But we are ready to get down to business. Welcome to the Tuesday, July 5th NCH Council meeting. Mr. Hedger is not able to be with us tonight, so I will call the roll. Ms. Dukes-Dean. Present. Ms. DeWald. Ms. Underwood. Ms. Alexander. Present. Ms. Zorb. Here. Ms. Blythe.
Here.
Ms. Anderson.
Here, sorry.
Thank you. So Ms. Underwood and Ms. DeWald both did reach out and say they would be unable to attend tonight, as did the mayor and again Mr. Hedgers. So,
Mr. President.
Yes, Ms. Anderson.
I'd like to motion to excuse Ms. DeWald and Ms. Underwood from tonight's meeting.
Mr. President.
Ms. Dukes-Dean. Motion from Ms. Anderson.
Mr. President.
Yes, ma'am.
Sorry, are the microphones on? I don't think that
Yes,
they are.
they are. They're not playing in the room. They're only playing for the video.
That makes sense. Okay, cool. Thanks.
All right, motion to excuse Ms. DeWald and Ms. Underwood by Ms. Anderson and second by Ms. Dukes-Dean. Any discussion?
Mr. President, I have a question.
Ms. Orb?
Just as a matter of policy, do we need to excuse Mr. Hedger?
I don't believe we do.
He's not an elected
Yeah, he's
official.
not an elected official, so I don't
It's
think we
appointed.
have to excuse him, but
Okay.
I believe that he has missed before and we have not excused him.
Alrighty. Thank you.
All right, I will call the roll. Ms. Dukes-Dean?
Yes.
Ms. Alexander?
Yes.
Ms. Zorb?
Yes.
Ms. Blythe?
Yes.
Ms. Anderson?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0. You have tonight's agenda.
Mr. President,
Ms. Zorb?
I'd like to make a motion we accept the agenda as presented.
Mr. President,
Ms. Anderson?
I'll second that motion.
Motion by Ms. Zorb, second by Ms. Anderson to accept tonight's agenda as presented. Any discussion? I will call the roll. Ms. Dukes-Dean?
Yes.
Ms. Alexander?
Yes.
Ms. Zorb?
Yes.
Ms. Blythe?
Yes.
Ms. Anderson?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0. You have the council meeting minutes from the June 6th meeting.
Mr. President,
Ms. Anderson?
sorry, I have a question. Since I wasn't at that meeting, do I abstain voting? Okay. I saw some head nods. Thank you.
Mr. President,
Zorb?
I also was not at that meeting, so I'm not sure you have enough people here to accept those minutes.
You would be correct. That would only leave us with 3, so. We will push the meeting minutes to our next regularly scheduled meeting. In August. Thank you. All right, next on the agenda is communication. Mr. Hedger is not here. I was not aware of any communication. Mr. Mosby, are you aware of any?
I do not have any, Mr.
Okay.
President.
Thank you. That will bring us up to our council committees, starting with City, Community Development, and Recreation.
Thank you, Mr. President. So our June meeting was canceled because of the storms that were going on. Power was out all over North College Hill, so we couldn't really have the meeting, unfortunately. But luckily, most people were safe and sound during that storm, so we are excited to meet again next week, July 11th at 6:30.
Thank you, Ms. Anderson. Budget and Finance.
Just a second, pulling up my notes. Yeah. Okay, sorry. We had our meeting was canceled, but then rescheduled for I believe it was the 7th. I'm sorry, I didn't have it written down. But per our discussion in the meeting, we covered here we go. We covered the tax budget for 2023. We went over the April report and the building renovations. We had an executive session for employees' compensation. And we did not have any old business. And then we adjourned. And then our next meeting is August the 9th. I'm sorry, August the...
You should have a July meeting.
Okay. Our July meeting is July the
I'm guessing
19th, right?
The 11th.
11th at 2022 at 7:30. Sorry. Okay.
Thank you. Rules and Public Policy. Ms. Underwood is not here. Does anyone have a report?
Mr. President,
Ms.
I
Anderson.
can give a report.
Thank
So, Ms. Underwood canceled the last meeting with an email that said that she intends to reschedule that meeting. I know that the next meeting is scheduled for July, not 12th, not 19th, July 25th at 6:30.
Thank you. Public Safety.
I can also give a summary. It was canceled, but then again, Ms. Underwood said that she plans to reschedule. So if it's not rescheduled, the next meeting is July 25th, also at 7:30.
Thank you, Ms. Anderson. Next up is Ad Hoc Reports. Does anyone have an Ad Hoc report? Hearing none, we'll move on to the administrative reports. The mayor is not here with us this evening, so we'll skip to the city administrator's report. Good evening, Mr. Mosby.
Good evening, Mr. President, members of council. Thank you, first of all, and I begin by saying I hope everyone had a safe and enjoyable 4th of July. We're officially over the halfway point of fiscal year 2022, and we've made some significant progress, which I will highlight in this report. The financial reports for 2019 and 2020 have been submitted with the appropriate adjustments. Additionally, the Ohio Auditor of State has completed the majority of their information gathering, and they are expected to release their results by the end of August. Also currently in the finance office or finance department, we have one person that is currently there, and that is our finance manager. We are actively seeking a person to replace our previous accounts payable specialist who resigned in June. If we look at our ending balances for the past several years, perhaps the best word to describe our finances is inconsistent. For example, our ending balance in the general fund in 2019, after taking into account certain special adjustments, was negative $200,000. In 2020, the ending balance was about $200,000, meaning a net change of over $400,000. This was largely due to the financial assistance we received as a result of the CARES Act in addition to an increase in income tax revenues. Since our transition to the Regional Income Tax Agency for administration of our local taxes, North College Hill has realized $2.39 million in 2019, $2.68 million in 2020, and $2.94 million in 2021. And while growth has slowed, we're still projecting to receive over $3 million in income tax revenues in 2023. From Recreation, Mrs. Annalisa Clear has joined our staff as the Recreation Director. She did an excellent job coordinating the Memorial Day Parade, making it the first parade we've had since the pandemic began. We had very good participation, culminating with a very moving program at the end. While we gave much thought to moving ahead with the car show in the end, we felt it was best to cancel the show for this year and use the time to build support and network for a show next year. Additionally, we have selected a vendor So from a recreation and parks perspective, we have selected a vendor to install the parking lot at Dunley Park, which is a requirement before the splash pad itself can be installed. The cost of the installation of the parking lot is $223,000, which is significantly over the estimate of $190,000. From Public Works, we've submitted an application for a Assorted grant for the west side of Galbraith Road. The grant includes the installation of rumble strips to the west of Simpson, and the entire cost of the repair is approximately $1.2 million. That we would be required to provide a 10% match, or $120,000. We should know if the grant was approved in the fall. And by the way, that $120,000 would either come, it would come from our street levy fund. So just wanted to be clear on that. From the police department, the impound lot has been constructed, and the final step is to install the lighting. We do have a source for the lights, and we hope to have them within the next 2 weeks. Once the lighting is installed, the impound lot will be ready to receive vehicles. From the fire department, improvements have been made to the safety building, and those are completed now. And we have a full complement of full-time firefighters. However, we're always looking for part-time firefighters to supplement our full-time staff. Additionally, the contract for the full-time firefighters, a collective bargaining agreement, will be on the agenda for August. So I just wanted to make council aware of that, to be prepared for that one. Also, I guess one of our another final good note, we had selected a economic development consultant. The mayor and I had already met and taken a tour around the city with him, and he will be meeting with myself and the comprehensive plan team this Friday. So it looks to we're looking to have some very exciting things happening over the next several months in conjunction with the comprehensive plan that's being done right now. So that, Mr. President, is my report for July.
Thank you, Mr. Mosby. Any questions for the city administrator?
Mr. President.
Ms. Anderson.
Haha, I gotcha. So I have a couple questions. My first one would be, so with the building updates for the city center, I know that you had talked about, I don't remember what the number was, but like a number that we were going to try to get to pay for the improvements for that building. I was wondering if there was a reason why we got that exact number, or how we got that exact number of the money that we're looking to try to get to improve the building, or is there like an estimate or a contractor to give you that number?
Right, that was based on an estimate from a contractor who had looked at the building and looked at the renovations. However, we are having an updated number that we are scheduled to. We're going to be having a meeting this week.
Gotcha.
To kind of look at all the parameters.
Because I remember like a couple years ago when the school owned it, they were like looking to renovate it, and it was, I think it wasn't more than $2 million.
2.3.
Yeah, it was 2.3 then. So I feel like it would only go up from there.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, when I was on the committee to look at the original renovation, when we had a bid that came in, and for that, at that time, if they were to do the whole thing, in other words, the entire roof plus the renovations inside, that was 1.7. And
When
that
was
was
that?
back in 2000 and I believe it was 17.
Okay. Yeah, because I imagine it would like be way more than that at the current state of the world. But sorry, and then one more question, unless yours had to do with that. Okay. So with the Dunley Park stuff, I know you said that the parking lot's getting put in, and I'm assuming now we're probably not going to make that August date that I know you guys were aiming for, which it happens. Is there a new date that you guys are estimating the park will be done, or that the splash pad there will be done?
Well, what I can tell you so far is that it will take approximately 8 weeks to install the parking lot.
Okay.
So we're probably looking at October
Okay.
before we can do that. Then after that, we of course we would still have to put out a bid, although that would probably occur while the parking lot is being constructed.
Right. Okay.
So clearly at this time, I mean, if the parking lot is not going to be finished until
Right.
October, we're not looking at anything earlier than 2023 at this
No,
point.
I don't blame you guys, because there's no point in getting it ready for December, you
Right.
know. So yeah. All right.
Well, but if I may, because I'm glad
Yeah.
that you brought that up. So the other thing, and this will probably give us time, and particularly because we're going to be discussing the budget anyway, but one of the other issues that was brought up was the bathroom. So if the bathroom is done, that is going to be a significant addition to the cost of
Right.
of the plan. So that also has to be, that would also probably have to be something that's taken into consideration. What I will say, and I can tell you all this now, that I would make the recommendation that, because if you remember initially in the budget, we estimated $200,000 for the splash pad, and but we also added $30,000 for maintenance at the time.
Right.
So I would just recommend that we take the $30,000 that was in there and just basically add it to the 200 to cover the cost of the parking lot for this
And
year.
is that just an estimate, or is that
Those
like
are
you know
estimates.
it will? Okay.
No, those are just estimates.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I definitely would feel more comfortable with like solid numbers, just because I feel like if we're already putting 30,000 into it, I want to make sure you have enough to do the work you got to do. You know what I mean?
Well,
I don't wanna,
so to your point though, again, you know, the difference, that difference that we were talking about, clearly, as you know, it shows a reflection in the cost increases of materials.
Right.
And so that they did the cost estimate of that less than 3 months ago.
yeah,
So
and it's the same now. Yeah.
just already the cost is, increased that much. So I do want council just to be aware that that is exactly
Right.
what is happening right now. And then in addition, many of the supplies are on back order, so that means that we have to wait
Right.
as well. And that's the case here. That's why they couldn't get started until, it looks like the earliest is going to be August.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you so much.
Ms. Zorb, do you still have a question?
I do. And actually I even have more now. I guess I feel like I'm way out of the loop on the whole Dunley Park revamping. Because I hadn't heard. So I had my grandchildren this weekend, and I took them up to Dunley Park to play. And I noticed that nothing had been done for the splash pad, and yet in my mind, I still had an August date of the splash pad. So I guess I was out of the loop that date had slid, and that we're still having. So do you think you could run down the plan of what's going on there? Because I feel like I'm out of the loop. Does everyone else know about the parking lot and everything else that's going on? And did I?
Mr. President.
Ms. Anderson?
Do you,
So I had honestly kind of assumed that the August date was out. I didn't know for sure. I just had kind of assumed. And then when he said the parking lot's just not going in, I don't recall ever getting an email about an update. But I also do talk to Annalisa Clear really frequently, and I've just been like more casually asking her for updates. She didn't say anything about the August date, but I just had kind of assumed based on information I had gotten. But I didn't. Though I don't know any plan. But just
So,
to give you a
can we just back up for a second? So So what's going on with the parking lot? So we had an estimate, it was $190,000, and it came back at 223.
Well, that was the lowest bid
So
of the bids that we received.
the splash pad can't go in until the parking lot's in?
Correct,
That's
and-
part of my confusion.
so-
I guess I don't know the
Yeah, so
timeline, the
the-
staggering.
Well, that was it. When we talked to the engineers, the first part of that, and part of the reason for that is because when they do put in the parking lot, they're also going to put in the necessary infrastructure, basically, for the water lines and everything, for bathrooms, if we're doing bathrooms, and then certainly for the pad itself. But the parking lot was going in order to basically, we had to make sure that we had enough room for all of the cars that are being provided for, which I believe we're doubling the amount of spaces that we have right now. So
what is that total, can I ask?
yeah, I think it's 12, and we're putting in 12 more, so it'd be a total of 24.
24.
So yes, that's why that needed to go in first. And with that, when we put out the bid for it, we did put out that we wanted it to be done urgently. The response that we got back from them was that the materials were just not available, and that, we would have to wait for the materials in order to come in for them to go ahead and complete the project, that portion, that phase of the project.
Mr. President.
So, I'm sorry, I just want to stay there for a minute. So, the parking lot gets
Installed,
paved,
yeah.
whatever.
Correct.
And all the water lines get in and whatever else is needed for the utilities for the pad. And then the pad goes in,
Correct.
and then theoretically we can.
Theoretically, that's a good question, because as I mentioned, there was talk about having a bathroom. Now, at the very least, since we already do know that we are looking at having people to pay, we're also going to have a gate that would be set up there. So the idea of that would be to have the gate and the bathroom facility basically as one unit. So at least that way it's not, we're not building extra buildings. So that may help us somewhat as far as putting that building in is concerned. It's not going to be that much to simply quote unquote put in the pad and connect the pad to the water. It really is more in this case, not just the fencing around it, like I said, but the security as well, especially security if we're going to have the bathroom there. So all of those things will have to be taken into consideration when we build it.
So have we discussed any type of staffing for that if we're going to have pay?
Well, it will have to be staffed, yes.
I understand, but
Yeah.
like quantities,
Mr. President.
salary, any of that, or will they have to be like
be
lifeguard
in-
certified, or?
Well, not
I don't even know if
lifeguard
any,
certified.
is that doesn't count for this, okay.
But since you asked the question, those figures will be incorporated into the 2023 budget. So there will absolutely be time to discuss that once the budget is presented.
All right, thank you. I think I'm finished now.
Okay, Ms. Dukestein?
Okay, I have a few things. I just want to go back to the school district comment. They were interested in rehabbing it last year, which is why they had a quote. And then on the email, I tried to wing the budget and finance notes. Mr. Mosby absolutely did send me an email about the Dunley Park. So I needed to have communicated that when we did the notes for budget and finance. So my apologies. And then I think that was it because I forgot again. So go ahead.
Mr. President.
Ms. Alexander?
Will you go?
I'm
Go
sorry.
ahead. I'm sorry.
That's good.
Yeah, Ms. Anderson, I forgot about you.
I'm sorry.
You're fine. It's okay. Oh, you forgot about me? Come on. I was just gonna. So, you guys are heart set on the whole charging people to come in thing. I just feel to me, it feels like we would lose more money doing that than we would make money, because we have to staff people. Like, let's say, okay, we have to staff 2 people a day, because we'll say it's open from 10 to 7. So probably 2 people get staffed a day. So that's at least 2 people. You're probably going to want to have people only working 3 to 5 days a week. So that's at least like 4 people staffed, maybe 5. So, and then on top of that, you know, they may have to be CPR certified. We would have to look into that. So I just feel like we would end up losing more money by charging than we would ever make money. And then it just makes me nervous that this is just going to be a whole nother pool situation where, you know, we end up losing it in a few years because we can't afford it.
It's not sustainable.
Yeah, it's not
Well,
sustainable.
I certainly hear what you're saying. I think the other thing that has to be taken into consideration, though, is that fee, basically, which would not be it wouldn't be a huge fee. So-
Right, which I don't know how it would sustain employees.
Well, it would basically have, well, because first of all, the pool, the splash pad itself is not gonna be open, year round. It'll only be open,
Right.
for a certain period of time, right? So, and if it is, and then it won't be open, and then obviously, kinda like the pool, it'll only be open like basically, during the day, basically kind of like 10 a.m. to like 7:30 or 8 p.m., something like that. So,
Right.
So basically, to make sure that, as you pointed out, that we do have some kind of revenue coming in, I suspect that you're probably right, that the revenue may not fully cover a lot of the maintenance
Supplement it.
that is, that we expect, but it would offset it. So a portion, I suppose that a portion of the budget would have to be committed to, covering the.
Yeah. Are
covering
we
the
sure,
rest.
though, that it would offset? The other thing is, too, I mean, you think about all the surrounding areas. The only area really that has a splash pad that you charge for is Winton Woods.
I don't
And
even think they charge. Well, they charge to get in the park.
They charge.
they charge for the splash pad.
Do they
specifically.
really?
But
there.
they have a whole, like, giant area with, it's a lot more than what we're planning on putting in. So then my fear would be, okay, so first of all, we're charging, so that's already going to kind of turn people away from it. Even if they can't afford it, they may not want to if they can go down the street and go somewhere else. And then on top of that, like I said, we're going to have to employ it. And I feel like we're already having a hard time in general, employing council and employing administration, which is, it's not anything to do with our city. It just has to do with the employee crisis that's going on. I would feel more comfortable, and I know it's not my decision, but as a member of this community and somebody who cares about our budget, and it's my job to care about our budget, I would just like to see more of like a detailed reasoning for why we should charge people and how that is going to, in turn, not make us lose money. So if it's possible, I would appreciate seeing something more detailed than just kind of a hope and a dream.
Mr. President, I know you're next in line, but can I jump on this topic for a quick
Go ahead, Ms.
second?
Orr.
Do you think we could add some type of cost analysis discussion to your recreation committee?
Yeah, that works for me. Yeah, sorry, Mr. President.
Ms. Anderson?
Would you be okay with that, Mr. Mosby, presenting like a more detailed plan to the City Community Development and Recreation Committee?
I can certainly speak to the mayor, of course, and,
Okay.
yeah, and, be prepared. I
Got
guess,
it.
for something. I'll work with our recreation director,
Okay.
and, we can plan to put something together. I can let you know in advance if we are unable to get it in time for this meeting.
Yeah.
we
No,
can let
I
you know
understand.
that.
Yeah, and we have time, so
Miss-
it's good. But yeah, I appreciate it. Okay, thank
Okay.
you. That's
Mr. President,
I had Ms. Alexander next.
thank you.
To piggyback on Ms. Anderson, I understand having something free as far as a splash pad, but it certainly can't be unmanned.
Oh, yeah.
And my question would be, how would we have security, against, rough housing or safety without someone, I guess, being compensated, unless we would have someone to volunteer to. But I certainly understand what you're saying, how hiring someone wouldn't, offset that much of the cost. But that was one of my points. Also, getting back to how we were saying that we didn't have the supplies for the parking and everything was on back order. Do we have a freeze on that price that they quote us, or do they potentially can, once it comes in, hey, the price is,
No, that was the low bid.
Okay.
So it cannot exceed that price.
Okay. All right. Thank
But
you.
that price already exceeded our cost estimate.
Okay.
Mr. President.
Mr.
And Ms. Dukestein next.
You can go ahead if you want to finish.
Yeah,
your
it was
thought.
about her. It was about her comment. I'm sorry. Is it okay, Mr. President?
Go ahead, Ms. Anderson.
Okay, sorry. Thank you. So yeah, with it being manned, I also really worry about that, especially with the bathrooms being there. But I mean, I know the one at Washington Park, which is really popular and really busy. I know they don't have, I know that they have employees walking around for the trash pickup and that kind of stuff, but nobody's there specifically to watch the splash pad. They're just kind of at the park to do other jobs. But I think too, if we kind of have general park rules of children under the age of blah 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 can't be there without an adult, or that kind of stuff, and more and I know the police department has been really great about, when there are issues. I feel like at least they've been pretty good about trying to fix them recently, which I really appreciate. So, maybe we talk to them and say, hey, these are the rules that we're putting in for the park. And, we really want to set a precedent. So once this park goes in, we want those enforced hard for the first month or two. So that way people really understand we're serious. I feel like it's going to be easier to look at other places, kind of layouts. I know Hamilton, right by where I work, they have a really successful splash pad, and they don't have any employees at the park that they're at, and it also has a restroom right next to it. I think, every single time I drive past that, it's insanely busy, and it's beautiful and it's well kept. So I know that there are ways to do it. I would and I know Annalisa Clear is amazing at looking at other people's things and how they did it and not reinventing the wheel. So I trust her wholeheartedly with this. But yeah, no, I agree too. That it makes me nervous. Yeah.
Mr. President.
Ms. Dukestein, then Ms. Alexander, then Ms. Zorb. Okay. And then you can go into the queue.
A couple of things. I was going to say in some of the previous meetings that we had about the employees, I think it was kind of like a full circle idea, because we had talked about maybe we could have some youth workers or the CCY, pay students. And that really targets not just the little kids, but then high schoolers or, other kids. And so it creates a place of inclusion and just really serving our youth in a better space overall in the summertime. So I'm definitely for that. And I have been visiting splash parks because it's summer and, my kids need things to do. So Deer Park has a very successful one. And they do have a set of bathrooms. It's manned sometimes during the day when it's really, really busy, and there are preschools and other places getting out of the heat to come. And then there's others. So, and it's not set in stone, but it's just, I just want to leave you, and I know you were going to move it to your committee or Erica's committee or whoever to continue talking about it. But we have to meet the need of our community. And I'm not saying that we don't have income issues, but it may be better served for us to create a space for the older youth and the younger youth, if we can get as many people involved in it as possible. I know the one at Deer Park even has like a little ice cream thing that they roll out. I mean, it's limitless in what we can do and kind of speak to all crowds. So, especially with the park being right there too.
Ms. Zorb?
Mr. Mosby, there was one thing that I'm not sure I heard you mention. Are there going to be any security lights planned?
Yes, I did not mention that, but yes, there is going to be lighting there.
Okay.
Ms. Blythe?
Just as a note regarding workers, I only drive by Aiken High School on my way to work back and forth, but the splash pad that they have, and most people are familiar, there is a building in the back, a smaller building. I'm assuming it has restrooms in it. Then to the left is the grill out area with picnic tables and whatnot. And then to the right of that is the, I guess, I don't know, maybe more, 24-foot diameter splash pad. But I don't seem to see any gates or employees taking money or securing money. It just looks like the splash pad right across from Aiken High School is a part of the picnic, the grilling area. It's just kind of built into the park. So it seems like whoever is grilling there or hanging out family-wise, I just see kids. And I noticed, I think it may be opened about a month ago, not quite sure, but I noticed it was open. But I don't really see anywhere where anyone's taking money but like someone just said, maybe some of the workers that are maybe mowing the lawn or tending to the park are checking on the splash area. So I just wanted to add my observation to it.
Mr. President,
Mr.
if I
Mosby?
could make a few comments. So I would like to address two things that Ms. Anderson said. So I am familiar with and I don't know if it's the same one, but I'm also familiar with one. In fact, that was one in Hamilton is one I went to look into. And they have one that is a pretty big splash pad. It's also part of a larger park. But as she said, it is unmanned. I also wanted to address another point. You had mentioned Washington Park, and then you said you mentioned employees, which I believe that those employees are 3CDC employees. Yeah, so they're not city employees. That would be the difference. And if we did have that, now that would be, but however, excuse me, so let me go to something that Ms. Dukes-Dean said, and she is correct. CYC, they typically work with other municipalities for students to have summer jobs. And actually, in those cases, they pay. I think it's in conjunction with the county. And so the pay for those students, it comes from the county. It doesn't come out of the city coffers. So I do agree that would absolutely, I think that would be one possible alternative for that in the event that we do man it. So, Mr. President, that was all I had.
Thank you, Mr. Mosby. Next up is the Law Director's report. Mr. Laflamme, do you have a report?
Nothing to report, Mr. President. Thank you.
Thank you. Finance Director's report. She is not with us this evening, so we'll go to call of members, starting with Ms. Dukes-Dean.
Just happy summer. I'm enjoying it. That's it.
Ms. Alexander?
I'm going to piggyback on that. That's it. Hope everyone had a great holiday as well.
Ms. Zorb?
I exhausted all my questions about the splash pad, so I have nothing more to add. Thank you.
Ms. Blythe?
I received a message, I'm assuming it was maybe this weekend on Nextdoor, from a North College Hills citizen. Her name is Mrs. Debbie Wright. And I'll go ahead, and she wanted to share this with council. Mrs. Debbie Wright, I would like the noise ordinance changed to 10 p.m. if possible. I'd also like those huge fireworks that shake your house and rattle your windows banned. I don't have anything against fireworks per se, but the type many are using or have been using is dangerous in a dense neighborhood. Some admit we have a large population in a small square mile area, yet many use fireworks intended for more rural areas. End of notation. Thank you.
Mr. President,
Thank you, Ms. Blythe. Ms. Anderson?
sorry, I was just gonna ask based on what you just read, which, who would I ask? I don't know if it'd be you, Mr. Mosby, for the current legislation that we have on fireworks?
Yeah, I mean, that would be something that I myself, or I would also defer
Okay.
to our law director
Okay.
as well.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind taking on that topic in city community development and recreation if you feel that's where it's appropriate, Mr. Graver. Okay.
That will work.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. If you just want to mind sending me whatever legislation you guys can find that we currently have, I guess on the noise ordinance as well, we can discuss that in there. And then I could have sworn that we had legislation already for fireworks, but I mean, we can also look into it. But thank you for reading that.
Ms. Anderson, do you have any comments?
Oh, yes, I do. Well, also happy summer, but also this Ohio Special Olympics were just recently held up at Ohio State University. And I know that Hamilton County has a really large Special Olympics program, and I'm sure that there are many people from North College Hill who participate in that. And I know actually a lot of people who go to the Clover Nook Center for the Blind are a part of Special Olympics. So I just want to wish all the athletes good luck, and if they already played and if they already performed, then congratulations, and I hope that it was really fun for them. With that, I also want to congratulate Team Ohio for their performance in their athletics at the United States Special Olympics in Orlando last month. I was lucky enough to be there and watch their athleticism, and I got to watch two of my family members in the Special Olympics, which was the coolest, happiest thing of my life. And so congratulations to Team Ohio and all the hard work that they put in last month, and anybody from Hamilton County who was there, from North College Hill, congratulations especially to them. I also want to say I was happy to celebrate Juneteenth last month and all the pride that comes with that holiday. And I'm happy that I can hear the fireworks now. I'm happy that everybody was safe with the fireworks for that special holiday and for any other holidays that were celebrated within the last month or so. So thank you to also the police department. I saw that they posted a notice about how they were going to handle it according to our laws. And I was actually out of town this past weekend, but from all I heard from my family and from everybody else in our neighborhood, it was handled really, really professionally and well by our police department. So thank you to Chief Strand and all of our police officers who were on duty this weekend, having to deal with all those calls, I'm sure. So that is all. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Ms. Anderson. That will bring us to remarks from the audience. We do have a guest from Freestore Food Bank. Ms. Miller, if you would please take the lectern, state your name.
Hi, my name is Sarah Leah Miller. I am from the Get Covered team at Freestore Food Bank. Our program is actually a cooperation between the Ohio Association of Food Banks and Freestore Food Bank. I brought a handout for everyone. I don't think actually. It's just a short presentation. Thank you so much, President and council members, for allowing me to be here today. So our program is set up as a outreach program. We go into libraries, we go to different places all over 8 counties, not just Hamilton County, to help people sign up for, maintain, and Medicaid, and to help them, if they're over income for Medicaid, help find insurance through the federal marketplace. One of the big initiatives that I've taken on within this role, so I don't know if you know this, but the Family First Coronavirus Response Act, which was passed in March 2020, has prevented states from removing Medicaid recipients from the program's roll. So that essentially means that at the start of the pandemic, anyone that had Medicaid and anyone who's gotten Medicaid since then has not been able to lose it. So with the end of the public health emergency, which right now is tentatively scheduled for July, it's kind of every 3 months they've pushed it forward. And now it's believed by CMS that it will be pushed forward into October. But with the end of the public health emergency, there are concerns about the end of this stay on Medicaid, or the fact that people haven't been able to lose Medicaid. Now they would be reassessed. And it would be like a renewal process, like people actually experience once a year usually. So it has, we do believe it'll be extended to October. This is great because it gives everyone more time to have the coverage and to update their cases. And what I mean by that is that people haven't had to give their information really for the last 2 years. So they, let's say they've moved or they've gotten a new job or the job pays more. We've seen a lot of that happening in different communities and the businesses in those communities, jobs that paid $7 before paying $14 just to have somebody there. So we're going to have a lot of people that need to update their contact information, their income information, and we'll be finding people that will now probably be over income from regular Magi Medicaid. So our team is here to do outreach in the city of Cincinnati and beyond, all of the neighborhoods, to help people know to update their contact information and anything that they can right now, just to be ready for when the end of the public emergency happens. And if for the people listening in right now, you can go to jfs.ohio.gov to update your information or call their their hotline, which is 1-844-640-6446. So our team will actually be doing a series through the different libraries in the city. We have 52 branches, and we have a partnership with the Cincinnati Public Library. So we shall be coming up to College Hill and surrounding communities quite soon, and I will send you information about that. So our trained navigators walk people through every step of applying for benefits, or every step of just finding out more about the benefits that they have. We help with understanding options and post-enrollment issues like finding a network providers. So we are here for any questions for that sort of thing. And we're funded through a grant from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, so all of our services are free of charge. I guess I just want to say, the other program that they've started is actually, it's a special enrollment for people who are just over income for Medicaid, between 138 and 150% of the federal poverty guideline. So, yes, the special enrollment periods for just regular getting federal marketplace insurance have passed. Open enrollment ended in January, but people who have found they just keep trying to apply and they're just over income, we have a special enrollment period for people that find themselves in that situation where they can get low-cost health insurance through the federal marketplace, because we have cost sharing reductions and tax benefits. So that's really all I came here to say. I just wanted people, I'm trying to spread the word because CMS and the Center for Medicaid and Medicare and Hamilton County and JFS, they're trying to too, but I mean, it's my mission to help make sure that everybody that needs to be covered is covered. So that's it. Thank you very much.
Any questions for Ms. Miller?
Thank you.
Mr. President?
Ms. Zorb?
It's not really a question, it's more of a statement. I had no idea that the Free Store Food Bank was involved in this, so thank you very much for letting us know.
And I actually brought some handouts for, yes, our program, but also one that lists all of our social services and the market. I don't know if there's a place, you said that the city center is closed, but if you have a place that you can distribute them, it's a really wonderful, all-encompassing. We try to help people have more stable lives by the services we provide. So it's everything from food assistance to even just you know, a lot of people who are homeless and transient, they don't have their birth certificate and their driver's license or their ID. So we even have a program to help with that. We also have 2 wonderful vocational programs. One is called Lift the Tri-State, and it helps train people to work and get their licensure for working in warehouses, and Cincinnati Cooks, which is a vocational program that I think many people are aware of. So,
Mr. President.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Mr. Mosby.
Thank you, Mr. President. I wasn't sure what you meant when you said that the city center was closed.
oh,
Yeah, it's not actually closed. We
Oh.
just are not conducting our meetings there because of
Oh,
the
right.
AC right now. Yeah,
Yes,
that's,
the only thing that we're doing is we're conducting all of our official meetings in this building, but we're open.
okay.
And
Yes.
this would actually be very important information for us to have, because we do want to be able to link, you
Great.
know, citizens, residents with potential resources. So
I will leave
would be
them.
more than happy to take some of that and then also get your information so we can stay connected.
Great.
Mr. President.
Ms. Anderson?
Sorry, Mr. Mosby, would you also mind posting, I see here there's like a informational something. I'm sure maybe you could send Mr. Mosby a copy and we could get that on, like, Ms. Miller can maybe post that on the Facebook page and on the website. Well, on both the Facebook page and the website, because I know a lot of people don't like going to our website. But yeah, I would appreciate that.
Thank you for your time, Ms. Miller.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Ms. Sowles, do you wish to address council? Please state your name and your address.
My name is Tammy South. I'm at 1533 West Galbraith. And I just wanted to come in and introduce myself. I am the new precinct executive of North College Hill as well as the ward chair. So I just wanted to come in and meet city council and see if there was anything that you all needed from me.
Mr. President.
Ms. Anderson?
I'm sorry, could you repeat what you said? I'm sorry, I couldn't quite hear you.
Yes, ma'am. I said I wanted to introduce myself as the new precinct exec of North College Hill, as well as the ward chair for North College Hill.
Great, thank you.
Mr. President,
Ms. Orb?
would you care to spell your name for me?
S is in Sam, O-W-E-L, S is in Sam.
Thank you.
And Tammy is spelled with an I-E.
Mr. President,
Mr. President.
Ms. Alexander?
can you tell me exactly what that role entails? I'm not familiar with it.
Oh, you know what? I should have brought my paperwork. This is the first time for me taking this position or being elected to this position, so I'm still waiting on Martin Ehouse, who is now the new executive director of BOV, or BOE, Board of Elections, to give me all that information that I need. So when I get it, I'll come back. I'll let y'all know.
Ms. Blythe?
I had the same identical
Okay.
question. Yes.
Mr. Mosby?
Thank you.
I can say.
You know a little bit of this, don't
As a
you?
previous employee of the Board of Elections, that's true. So your precinct executives, of course, we have 7 precincts in our city. And so typically, there's a precinct executive for the Democrat Party and then one for the Republican Party. And their job would be to go out, basically, you know, to solicit, encourage people to vote, to provide them information regarding levies, candidates, so on and so forth. So it's basically a canvassing type of a position that she would have.
Well, congratulations and welcome.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
That is all we have by way of remarks from the audience, so we will go to legislation. We have a second reading, resolution number 13-2022, a resolution to decertify assessments to the county auditor for placement on the tax duplicate. And then we have a second reading for ordinance number 05-2022, an ordinance for the city finance manager to submit a preliminary 2023 tax budget to the county auditor.
Mr. President,
Ms. Anderson?
since we can't vote to suspend, that's the one that we need to suspend the reading for, right?
Correct.
Okay, can we discuss now when we can meet to
New business?
Let's do it in new business.
new business?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. All right, so next would be further remarks from the audience. I'll assume there are none.
Mr.
Oh.
Got to ask when I was up there. This is for the city manager. Is there not a project manager for the splash pad project?
Good question.
Is there, well, yes, yes. I'm sorry, I'm kind of chuckling because a lot of times you wear a lot of different hats around here. But honestly, the recreation director has just recently taken this over. And so she has put together basically a project plan for it. And we had someone who was working on it previously, and then, but when our new recreation director came on, she took over. So she would be the project manager for this. And I have just recently, I was just reading, looking at her overview of the project itself. So it's something that we'll be discussing, not trying to turn, but we'll be discussing that in community development and recreation.
Mr. President,
Sorry about that, everyone.
Ms. Blythe?
this may be new business, but we just set up a meeting for 6:15 Thursday, and now I don't know what that meeting is about.
We'll talk about that in new business.
New business, okay, thank you.
All right, does anyone have any old business?
Yes, we can.
All right, hearing no old business, we'll go to new business, and we'll start with the fact that, yes, because we cannot suspend the third reading for ordinance number 5, we need to have a special meeting. So I am confirming with everyone that we can have a special meeting on Thursday, July 7th at 6:15 p.m. at City Center.
Mr. President,
This is to do the third reading
the third reading
on
of
ordinance 5.
05 to, do we have a guarantee that we will have enough people on Thursday? There are 2 people
I'm
missing.
confirming that right now.
Okay, so we'll have to hear back from the 2 people missing.
We just
Okay.
need 4.
Right, I was just about to say, since it's a third reading, there would be no need to suspend a rule, so you wouldn't.
Correct. So that's what we're confirming now. If 5 of you can be there, we will have plenty.
May I ask,
Mr. Mosby.
Thank you, Mr. President. May I ask council also then, however, to consider also placing Resolution 1322 on that? And the reason that I say that is because this is the resolution to decertify the assessments. This is the money that I know that several of you have probably already seen the emails that have gone around, and these are residents who initially paid the assessment or had the registration fee assessed, and when they went back and they talked with our buildings and inspections officer, he saw fit to decertify them. So this, by passing that, we would be able to get their checks cut to them and refund them faster. So I would just ask council to consider adding that.
Mr. President,
Ms. Orb.
I would agree to that.
Okay. So is there anyone here who cannot make Thursday, July 7th at 6:15 p.m. at City Center? Okay, then we will set a special meeting for Thursday, July 7th at 6:15. We will have third readings for resolution number 13-2022 and ordinance 5-2022 on that agenda.
Mr. President,
Ms. Dukestein?
what if Ms. DeWalt can't attend? I know Erica cannot.
We still have enough. If everyone here is there, we have enough. We need 4.
Mr. President,
Ms. Blythe?
can you explain why we're not doing it now with 5 people? I'm totally
Not suspend third reading with less than 6.
In order to suspend the rules, you have to have a supermajority of council to agree, which is a minimum of 6. So if you do not have 6 here
Gotcha.
present, you wouldn't be able to do that.
So we're going to try to do that on Thursday.
No,
Just
what you're
have to
doing
vote
is,
on it Thursday.
so procedurally, every ordinance has to go through 3 readings.
Okay.
This was
I
the
see what
second
you-
reading. So at the third reading, there would be
Right.
no
We
need
will do
to.
a third
Thank
reading,
you for
and then we can
explaining
vote.
that. Just couldn't.
You
Thank
have
you.
to have the supermajority of the whole council instead of just the quorum that's present. That's
Okay.
why.
Okay,
Correct.
thank you. Okay.
All right, any other new business?
Mr. President,
Ms. Anderson?
I don't know actually if Ms. Orb's going to bring up the same thing. So I noticed, and I know a few other people noticed, that Lime, the company Lime electric scooters, somebody must have taken them from Cincinnati and brought them up here. And Lime, I guess I was asking my dad actually about it, and he knew that their procedure, I guess, is, nightly. They have people come out, pick up the scooters, take them back to their charging stations, whatever. But I don't know if that's something that council would want to look into legislation on, just if in case. I know that we have a lot of issues currently with pedestrian traffic, especially with the construction that's going to occur soon on Galbraith. I don't know, or not on Galbraith, I'm sorry, in Hamilton. So I don't know if that's something that council would want to look into legislation about. And if so, what committee do you feel it would be most appropriate in, Mr. Graver?
Mr. President.
I would say public safety, but Ms. Zorb, did you?
I was not on this topic at all,
Okay. Go ahead then,
unless you want
Ms. Dukestein.
my say-so.
I actually saw those as well, and I had the same thoughts. So I would like to see that on the public safety ministry. Sorry.
Agenda.
Church brain. Sorry.
Blessing people now.
Because
That's awesome.
it could also go on recreation.
It could.
I don't care.
Either, so who meets next?
Public safety.
Do you have
community?
Do you have room on your agenda?
So here's the thing: is we're before finance, budget and finance, so I always try to keep it within an hour. So I can definitely put it on there. It's just gonna have to get pushed because it's not. I feel like Dunley kind of trumps this topic, if I'm being honest. So it's gonna get pushed back a month or two, honestly. So I don't care, but I also know that public safety also has the same. They don't have the same issue, but I know that they also have a lot on their agendas usually. So either way, it's up to you.
Okay. I would still lean towards public safety.
Okay.
Me too.
Would you mind reaching out to Ms.
will.
Underwood then? Thank you.
Go ahead, Ms. Orr.
So I just wanted to put a bow on the special meeting notice because Miss Dewald, Miss Underwood have to be noticed at their homes. Can we write up something real quick, and I'll drive it to their house. And tape it on their door. If we can.
Okay.
Somebody can write that up and.
Yes, perfect. Thank you.
And
Mr.
then
President.
Mr. Hedger will need to know to create the agenda.
Yes, so I will reach out to Mr. Hedger and take care of all that.
Okay. Sorry, I'm not trying to step on your toes.
No,
I just
you're
want to make sure
absolutely,
that
if you're willing to take that on, then I don't have to deliver.
if you write it up, I will deliver it. And if somebody gives me Miss Underwood's address, because I don't know it.
Okay,
All right, thank you.
thank you. Ms. Dukestein?
Mr. Mosby, last year when we talked about mulching the
Yes.
parks, did we ever follow through with that? I'm sorry, this is off the top of my head. I was happened to drive around to the parks and I was looking and it looks like the mulch is gone. Is it just that it blows away or did we do it or what?
No, there was mulch that was definitely put into Stapleton. I have to go back to
That's-
confirm. Yes, thank you. There was mulch that was put in. However, I'm not sure which one you were talking about. I can also tell you that there has been additional mulch that was also put in the front of the city center. And we're also talking about having additional mulch placed at the entry to, it's the southbound side of Hamilton. But if you can let me know, I mean, I can.
Which park?
Yeah, I can have them
Okay.
check.
I can send you an email.
Okay.
And but I'm also gonna just tell you too, it's the park over by Mayor Nichols' house.
That's Stapleton.
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 It was.
And I know that we had put something, but yes, I can go ahead and do that. I will say also, just FYI, because since you mentioned that, and I apologize, but the mayor had sent me notice that there was a sinkhole, and I don't know if some of you are aware
I
of
saw
this,
that.
but I will let you all know that I have notified Greater Cincinnati Waterworks, and they do have a team that will be coming out, and my understanding their process is that they would do a temporary fix, for the concrete, because when I talked to him, he was not aware that the concrete had collapsed as well. He knew about the street, but when I told him about the concrete, he said he would send somebody out. So
Okay.
I did want to let council know that.
Any other new business?
Mr. President. I've been
Had
fighting you
Ms.
all
Anderson
night for the
first again.
lead.
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Mr. President,
Ms. Zorb.
I will second, since I couldn't be the first.
All right, motion to adjourn by Ms. Anderson, second by Ms. Zorb. I will call the roll. Ms. Dukestein.
Yes.
Ms. Alexander.
Yes.
Ms. Zorb.
Yes.
Ms. Blythe.
Yes.
Ms. Anderson.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0. See you all Thursday night, 6:15. Meeting is adjourned.
That's a good question.
Can you help me write this up and I'll write